Chapter 73 Olivia Brother. The first time I meet Olivia little brother, I have to admit I'm totally taken by surprise. I shouldn't be, of course. Olivia told me about his syndrome, has even described what he's looked like. But she's also talked about all his surgeries over the years, so I guess I assume he'll be more normal looking back now. Like when a kid is born with a cleft plate and has plastic surgery to fix it, sometimes you can't even tell except for the little scar above the lip. I guess I thought her brother wouldn't have some scars here and there, but not this. I definitely wasn't expecting to see this little kid in a baseball cap who's sitting in front of me right now. Actually, there are two kids sitting in front of me. One is totally normal looking kid with curly blonde hair named Jack, and the other is Orgy. I'd like to think I'm able to hide my surprise. I hope I do. Surprise is one of those emotions that can be hard to fake. Though whether you are trying to look surprised when you are not, or trying to look not to look surprised when you are. I shake his hand. I shake the other kid's hand. Don't want to focus on his face. Cool. I say. Are you Via's boyfriend? He says. I think he's smiling. Olivia pushes down his baseball cap. Is that a machine gun? The blonde kid asks, like I haven't heard that one before, and we talk about Jericho for a bit. And then we're talking my hand and leading me down out of the room. As soon as we close the door behind us, we hear them laughing. I'm from Brooklyn, one of them sings. Olivia rolls her eye and she smiles. Let's go hang out in my room, she says. We have been dating for 2 months now. I knew from the moment I saw her the minute she sat down at our table in cafeteria. I like her. I couldn't keep my eyes off her really beautiful with olive skin and the bluest eyes I have ever seen in my life. At first she acted like she was only want to be friends, and I think she's kind of gives off that vibe. Without even meaning to stay back, don't even bother. She doesn't flirt like some other girls do. She looks you right in the eye when she talks to you, like she's daring you. So I just kept looking her right in the eye too, like was daring her right back. And then I asked her out and she said, yes, which rock. She's an awesome girl and I love hanging out with her. She didn't tell me about August until our third date. I think she used the phrase craniofacial abnormalities to describe his face, or maybe it was craniofacial abnormally. I know the one word she didn't use was deformed though, because that word would have resisted with me. So, what do you think? She asked me nervously the second we are inside her room. Are you shocked? No, I lie. She smiles and looks away. You are shocked. I'm not, I assure her. He's just like what you said he'd be. She nods and plops down on her bed. Kind of cute how she still has a lot of stuffed animal on her bed. She takes one of them, a polar bear, without thinking and puts it in her lap. I sit down on the rolling chair by her desk. Her room is immaculate. When I was little, she says, there was lots of kids who never came back for a second play date. I mean, lots of kids. I even had friends who wouldn't come to my birthday because he would be there. They never actually told me this, but it would get back to me. Some people just don't know how to deal with orgy, you know? I not. It's not even like they know they are being mean. She odds. and they were just scared. I mean, let's face it, his face is a little scary, right? I guess, I answered, but you're okay with it? She asked me sweetly, you're not too freaked out or scared? I'm not freaked out or scared. I smile. She nods and looks down at the polar bear on her lap. I can't tell whether she believes me or not, but then she gives the polar bear a kiss on the nose and tosses it to me with a little smile. I think that means she believes me, or at least she wants to. That's all, chapter 74.
Chapter 74 Valentine's Day. I give Olivia a hot necklace for Valentine's Day. She gives me a messenger bag she made out of floppy disk. Very cool how she makes things like that. Earrings are a piece of circle board, dressy out t-shirt, bags of oh yes. She's so creative. I tell her she should be an artist someday, but she wants to be a scientist, a geneticist of all things. She wants to find ghosts for people like her brother, I guess. We make plans for me to finally meet her parents, a Mexican restaurant on Amersfoort Avenue near her house on Saturday night. All day long I'm nervous about it, and when I get nervous my discs come out. I mean, my discs are always there, but they are not as they used to be when I was little. Nothing but a few heartbeats now, the occasional head pull. But when I'm sad, but when I'm scared, they get worse, and I'm definitely stressing about meeting her first. They're waiting inside when I get to a restaurant. The last gets up and shakes my hand, and the mom gives me a hug. I give Archie a hello fist punch and kiss Olivia on the cheek before I sit down. It's so nice to meet you, Justin. We've heard so much about you. Her parents couldn't be nicer. Let me at ease right away. The waiter brings over the menus and I notice his expression the moment when he lays eye on our girls. But I pretend not to notice. I guess we are all pretending not to notice things tonight. The waiter might take the way our crosses the tortilla chips on the table and spoon the crumbs into his mouth. I look at Olivia and she smiles at me. She knows. She sees the weather face. She sees my sticks. Olivia is your girl who sees everything. We spend the entire night dinner talking and nothing. Olivia's parents asked me about my music, how I got into the fiddle and stuff like that. And I tell them how I used to play classical violin, but I got into Appalachian folk and music then the echo. And they are listening to every word like they are really interested. They tell me to let them know the next time my band's playing a gig so they can come listen. I'm not used to all the attention, but to be truthful, my parents don't have a clue about what I want to do with my life. They never ask, and we never talk like this. I don't think they even know I traded my brown violin for an string had annual fiddle 2 years ago. After dinner, we go back to Olivia's for some ice cream. Their dog is at the door. A no dog, super sweet. She did throw up all over me. all over the hallway, though. Olivia small rushy to get paper towels quiet. The dust picks the dog up like his baby. What's that, oh girlie? He said. The dog's in heaven, tongue hanging out, tail wagging next in the air at awkward angle. That tells Justin how you got Daisy, said Olivia. Yeah, said Oggy. The dog smiles and sits down in a chair with the dog still curled in his arm. It's obvious he's told this story lots of times and they all love to hear it. So I'm coming home from the subway one day, he said, and a homeless guy I've never seen in this neighborhood before is pushing this floppy mud in a stroller. And he comes up to say to me and said, "Hey, mister, wanna buy my dog?" And without even thinking about it, I say, "Sure, how much you want?" He say, $10, so I give him $20 I have in my wallet and he hands me the dog. Justin, I'm telling you, you never smell anything so bad in your life. She stank so much, I can't even tell you. So I took her from there to the vet down the street and then brought her home. Didn't even call me first, by the way. The mom interjects as she cleans the floor to see if I'm okay with his bringing home some homeless guy's dog. The dog actually looks over at the mom when she says this. Now she understands everything everyone is saying about her. She's a happy dog. Like she knows she knocked out that day fighting this family. I can't know how she feels. I like Olivia's family. They laugh a lot. My family's not like this at all. My mom and dad got divorced when I was 4, and they pretty much hate each other. I grew up spending half of every week in my dad's apartment in Chelsea, and the other half in my mom's place in Brooklyn Heights. I have a half brother who's 5 years older than me and barely knows I exist. For as long as I can remember, I felt like my parents could hardly wait for me to be old enough to take care of myself. You can go to the store by yourself. Here's the key to the apartment. It's funny how there's word like overprotective to describe some parents, but no word that means the opposite. What word do you use to describe parents who don't protect enough? Underprotective, neglectful, self-involved, lame, all of the above. Olivia's family tell each other I love you all the time. I can remember the last time everyone in my family said that to me. By the time I go home, my teeth have all stopped.
Outtown. We are doing the play Outtown for the spring show this year. Olivia dares me to try it out for the lead role, the stage managers, and somehow I get it. Total fluke. Never got any lead roles in anything before. I tell Olivia she brings me good luck. Unfortunately, she doesn't get a female lead. Emily Gibbs, the pink-haired name Miranda gets it. Olivia gets a bit part and is also the Emily understudy. I'm actually more disappointed than Olivia is. She almost seems relieved. I don't love people staring at me, she says, which is sort of straight coming from such a pretty girl. A part of me thinks maybe she blew her audition on purpose. The spring show is at the end of April. It means much now, so that's less than 6 weeks to memorize my part, plus rehearsal time, plus practicing with my band, plus final, plus spending time with Olivia. It's going to be a rough 6 weeks, that for sure. Mr. David Park, the drama teacher, is already manic about the whole thing. Will drive me crazy by the time it's over, no doubt. I heard through the grapevine that he'd been planning on doing The Elephant Man, but changed it to Out Town at the last minute, and that Shane took a week off of our rehearsal schedule. Not looking forward to craziness of the next month and a half.
76. Ladybug. Olivia and I are sitting on her front stoop. She helping me with my lines. It's a warm matching evening, almost like summer. The sky is still bright cyan, but the sun is low and the sidewalks are streaked with long shadows. I'm receding. Yes, the sun has come up over 1,000 times. Summers and winters have cracked the mountains a little bit more, and the rains have brought down some of the dirt. Some babies that were not even born before have begun talking regular sentences already, and a number of people who thought they were right, young and spry, have noticed that they can bound up a flight of stairs like they used to, without their heart fluttering a little. I shake my head, can't remember the rest. All that can happen in 1,000 days, Olivia prompts me, reading from the script. Right, I say. Shaking my head, I sigh. I'm wife, Olivia. How the heck am I going to remember all these lines? You will, she answers confidently. She reaches out and cups her hand over a ladybug that appears out of nowhere. See? A good luck sign, she says, slowly lifting her top hand to reveal the ladybug walking on her palm of her other hand. Good luck or just the hot water? I joke. Of course good luck, she answers, watching the ladybug crawl up her wrist. There should be a thing about making a wish on a ladybug. Archie and I used to do that with fireflies when we were little. She cups her hand over the ladybug again. Come on, make a wish. Close your eyes. I dutifully close my eyes. A long second passed. Then I opened them. Did you make a wish? She asked. Yes, I smiled. Uncups her hand, and the ladybug, as if on cue, spread its wings and flees away. Don't you want to know what I wish for? I asked, kissing her. No, she answered shyly, looking up at the sky, which at this very moment is the exact color of her eyes. I made a wish too, she said mysteriously, and she has so many things she could wish for. I have no idea what she's thinking.
This is chapter 77, The Bus Stop. Olivia's mom, Augie, and Jack and Daisy come down the stoop just as I'm saying goodbye to Olivia. Slightly awkward since we are in the middle of a nice long kiss. Hey guys, says the mom, pretending not to see anything, but the two boys are giggling. Hi, Miss Pullman. Please call me Isabel, Justin. She says that again. It's like the third time she told me this, so I really need to start calling her that. I'm heading home, I say as if to explain. Oh, are you heading to the subway? She says, following the dog with a newspaper. Can you walk Jack to the bus stop? No problem. That's okay with you, Jack? The mom asks him, and he shrugs. Justin, can you stay with him till the bus comes? Of course. We all say our goodbyes. Olivia winks at me. You don't have to stay with me, says Jack as we're walking up the block. I take the bus by myself all the time. Augie's mom is way too overprotective. He's got a low, gravelly voice. Like a little tough guy. He kind of looks like one of those little rascal kids in old black and white movies. Like he should be wearing a newsboy cap and knickers. We get to the bus stop and then the schedule says the bus will be there in 8 minutes. I'll wait with you. I tell him After you, he shrugs. Can I borrow $1? I want some gum. I fish $1 out of my pocket and watch him cross the street to the grocery store on the corner. He seems too small to walking around by himself. Somehow then I think how I was that young while I was taking the subway by myself, way too young. I'm going to be an overprotective dad someday. I know it. My kids are going to know I care. I'm waiting there a minute or two when I notice 3 kids walking up the block from the other direction. They walk right past the grocery store, but one of them looks inside and nudges the other 2, and they all back up and look inside. I can tell they're up to no good, or elbowing each other laughing. One of them is Jack's height, but the other 2 look much bigger, more like a teens. They hide behind him. The fruit stand in front of the store, and when Jack walks out, they trail behind him, make loud throw-up noises. Jack casually turns around in the corner to see who they are, and they run away, high-fiving each other and laughing. Little jokes. Jack crosses the street like nothing happened and stands next to me at the bus stop, blowing a bubble. Friends of yours? I finally say. Ha, he says, trying to smile, but I can see he's upset. Just some jokes for my school, he says. A kid named Julian and his 2 gorillas, Henry and Miles. Do they bother you like that a lot? No, they never done that before. They'd never do that in school or they'll get kicked out. Julian lives 2 blocks from here, so I guess it was just bad luck running into him. Oh, okay, I nod. It's not a big deal, he assures me. We both automatically look down Enforced Avenue to see if the bus is coming. We're soft in a wall, he says after a minute, as if that explained everything. Then he pulls out his crumpled piece of loose-leaf paper from his jeans pocket and gives it to me. I unfold it, and it's a list of names in 3 columns. He turns the whole grade against me, says Jack. Not the whole grade, I point out, looking down at the list. He leaves me notes in my locker that say stuff like everybody hates you. Just to tell the teacher about that. Jack looks at me like I'm an idiot and shakes his head. Anyway, you have all these neutrals, I say, pointing to the list. If you get them on your side, things will even up a bit. Yeah, well, that's really going to happen, he says sarcastically. Why not? He shoots me another look like I'm absolutely the stupidest guy he ever talked to in the world. What? I say. He shakes his head like I'm hopeless. Let's just say, he says, I'm friends with someone who isn't exactly the most popular kid in the school. Then it hits me. What he's not coming out and saying August. This is all about his being friends with August. And he doesn't want to tell me because I'm the sister's boyfriend. Yeah, of course, makes sense. We see the bus coming down Enforced Avenue. While just hanging there, I tell him, handing back the paper, middle school is about as bad as it gets. And then it gets better. Everything will work out. He shrugs and shoves the list back into his pocket. We wave by when he gets on the bus, and I watch it pull away. When I get to the subway station 2 blocks away, I see the same 3 kids hanging out in front of the bagel place next door. They're still laughing and jerking each other like they're some kind of gangbangers. Little rich boys in expensive skinny jeans acting tough. I don't know what possesses me, but I take my glasses off, put them in my pocket, and then tuck my fiddle case under my arm, so the pointy side is facing up. I walk over to them, my face scrunched up, mean looking. They look at me, laughs dying on their lip. When they see me, ice cream cones at odd angles. Joe, listen up. Don't mess up with Jack. I say really slowly, gritting my teeth, my voice all clean is good, tough guy. Mess with him again and you will be very, very sorry. And then I tap my fiddle case for effect. Got it? They nod in unison. Ice cream dripping onto their hands. Good, I nod mysteriously. Then sprint down the subway 2 steps at a time.
Rehearsal. The play is taking up most of my time as I get closer to opening night. Lots of lines to remember, long monologues where it's just me talking. Olivia had this great idea though, and it's helping. I have my fiddle with me on stage and play it a bit while I'm talking. It's not written that way, but Mr. Davenport thinks it as an extra folksy element to have the stage manager plucking on the fiddle. And for me, it's so great because whenever I need a second to remember my next line, I just start playing a little soldier's draw on my fiddle and it buys me some time. I've gotten to know the kids in the show a lot better, especially the pink-haired girl who plays Emily. Turns out she's not nearly as stuck up as I thought she was. Given the crowd she hangs out with, her boyfriend's this built jock who's a big deal on the varsity sports circuit at school, is a whole world that I have nothing to do with, so I'm kind of surprised that this Miranda girl turns out to be kind of nice. One day we were sitting on the floor backstage waiting for the tech guys to fix the main spotlight. So, how long have you and Olivia been dating? She asked out of the blue. About 4 months now, I say. Have you met her brother? She says casually. It's unexpected that I can't hide my surprise. You know Olivia's brother? I ask. Yeah, I didn't tell you. We used to be good friends. I've known Augie since he was a baby. Oh yeah, I think I knew that, I answer. I don't want to let on that Olivia had not told me any of this. I don't want to let on how surprised I am that she called her Via. Nobody but Olivia's family calls her Via, and here this pink-haired girl who I thought was a stranger is calling her Via. Miranda laughs and shakes her head, but she doesn't say anything. There's an awkward silence, and she then starts fishing out through her bag and pulls out her wallet. She rifles through a couple of pictures and then hands one to me. It's of a little boy in a park on a sunny day. He's wearing shorts and a t-shirt and an astronaut helmet that covers his entire head. It was like 100 degrees that day, she says, smiling at the picture. But he wouldn't take that helmet off for anything. He wore it for like 2 years straight, in the winter, in the summer, at the beach. It was crazy. Yeah, I've seen pictures in Olivia's house. I'm the one who gave him that helmet, she says. She sounds a little proud of that. She takes the picture and carefully inserts it back into her wallet. Cool, I answer. So you're okay with it? She says, looking at me. I look at her blankly. Okay with that? She raises her eyebrows like she doesn't believe me. You know what I'm talking about, she says, and takes a long drink from her water bottle. Let's face it, she continues. The universe will not kind to Augie Pullman.
Chapter 79. Bird. Why didn't you tell me what you and Miranda Navas was used to be friends? I said to Olivia the next day. I'm really annoyed at her for not telling me this. It's not a big deal, she answers defensively. Look at me like I'm weird. It is a big deal, I say. I looked like an idiot. How could you not tell me? You've always acted like you don't even know her. I don't know her, she answers quickly. I don't know who the pink-haired cheerleader is. The new girl I knew was a total dork who collected American Girl dolls. Oh, come on, Olivia. You come on. You could have mentioned it to me at some point, I said quietly, pretending not to notice the big fat tear that's suddenly rolling down her cheek. She starts fighting back bigger tears. It's okay, I'm not mad, I say, thinking the tears are about me. I honestly don't care if you're mad, she said spitefully. Oh, that's real nice, I fired back. She doesn't say anything. The tears are about to come. Olivia, what's the matter? I say. She shakes her head like she doesn't want to talk about it, but all of a sudden the tears start rolling a mile a minute. I'm sorry, it's not you, Justin. I'm not crying because of you. She finally said through her tears. Then why are you crying? Because I'm an awful person. What are you talking about? She's not looking at me, wiping her tears with the palm of her hand. I haven't told my parents about the show, she says quickly. I shake my head because I don't quite get what she's telling me. That's okay, I say. It's not too late. There are still tickets available. I don't want them to come to the show, Justin. She interrupts impatiently. Don't you see what I'm saying? I don't want them to come. If they come, they'll bring Augie with them, and I just don't feel like... Here she's hit by another round of crying that doesn't let her finish talking. I put my arm around her. I'm an awful person, she says through her tears. You're not an awful person, I say softly. Yes, I am, she sobs. It's just been so nice being a new school where nobody knows about him, you know? Nobody's whispering about it behind my back. It's just been so nice, Justin. But if it comes to the play, then everyone will talk about it. Everyone will know. I don't know why I'm feeling like this. I swear I've never been embraced by him before. I know, I say, soothing her. You are entitled, Olivia. You've dealt with a lot of your whole life. Olivia reminds me of the bird sometimes, how her feathers get all rough when she's mad. And when she's fragile like this, she's a little lot bird looking for its nest. So I give her my wing to hide under.
Hello, I'm Chanthia Anh, and now I'll read the chapter The Universe. I can sleep tonight. My head is full of thoughts that won't turn off. Lines from my Mogoluk's elements, other periodic table that I'm supposed to be memorizing, theorems I'm supposed to be understanding. Olivia, Augie, Miranda's words keep coming back. The universe was not kind to Augie Pullman. I'm thinking about that a lot, and everything it means. She's right about that. The universe was not kind to Augie Pullman. What did that little kid ever do to deserve his sentence? What did the parents do? Or Olivia? She once mentioned that some doctor told her parents that the odds of someone getting the same combination of syndromes that came together to make Augie's face were like 1 in 4 million. So doesn't that make the universe a giant lottery then? You purchase a ticket when you are born, and it's all just random whether you get a good ticket or a bad ticket. It's all just luck. My head whirls on this, but then softer thoughts soothe like a flattened third on the major chord. No, it's not all random. If it really was all random, the universe would abandon us completely. And the universe doesn't. It takes care of its most fragile creations in ways we can't see. We're like with parents who adore you blindly, and a big sister who feels guilty for being human over you, and a little gravely voiced kid whose friends left him over you, and even a pink-haired girl who carries your pictures in her wallet. Maybe it is a lottery, but the universe makes it all even out in the end. The universe takes care of all his birds.
My name is Nguyễn Khánh Duy, and this is chapter 81 of the novel Wandered North Pole. The spud lamp was a big hit at the science fair. Jack and I got an A for it. It was the first A Jack got in any classes, all year long. So he was sick at the science fair project. All the science fair projects were set up on tables in the gym. It was the same setup as the Egyptian Museum back in December, except this time there were volcanoes and molecule diagrams on the tables instead of pyramids and pharaohs. And instead of the kids taking our parents around to look at everybody else's artifact, we had to stand by our tables while all the parents wandered around the room and came over to us one by one. Here's the math on that one. 60 kids in the grade equals 60 set of parents and doesn't even include grandparents. So that's a minimum of 120 pairs of eyes that find their way over to me. Eyes that aren't as used to me as the kids' eyes are by now. It's like how compass needles always point north, no matter which way you're facing. All those eyes are compass, and I'm like the North Pole to them. That's why I still don't like school events that include parents. I don't hate them as much as I did at the beginning of the school year, like the Thanksgiving sharing festival that was the worst one, I think. That was the first time I had to face the parents all at once. The Egyptian Museum came after that, and that one was okay because I got to dress up as a mummy and nobody noticed me. Then came the winter concert, which I totally hate because I had to sing in the chorus. Not only can I not sing at all, but it felt like I was on display. The New Year art show wasn't as quite as bad, but it was still annoying. They put up on artwork in the hallways all over the school and had the parents come and check it out. It was like starting school all over again, having unsuspecting adults pass me on the stairway. Anyway, it's not that I care that people react to me, like I have said a gazillion of times. I'm used to that by now. I don't let it bother me. It's like when you go outside and it's drizzling a little. You don't put on boots for a drizzle. You don't even open your umbrella. You walk through it and barely notice your hair getting wet. But when it's a huge gym full of parents, the drizzle becomes like this total hurricane. Everyone's eyes hits you like a wall of water. Mom and Dad hanging around my table a lot, along with Jack's parents. It's kind of funny how parents actually end up forming the same little group the kids from. Like my parents and Jack and Summer's mom are alike and get along with each other. And I see Julian's parents hang out with Henry's parents and Mai's parents. And even the two Max's parents hang out together. It's so funny. I told Mom and Dad about it later when we were walking home, and they thought it was a funny observation. I guess it's true that said Mom.
Hi, I'm Vũ Khánh Chi, and this is chapter 81, North Pole, from the book Wonder by R.J. Palacio. The spot lamp was a big hit at the science fair. Jack and I got an A for it. It was the first A Jack got in any class all year long, so he was psyched. All the science fair projects were set up on tables in the gym. It was the same setup as the Egyptian Museum back in December, except this time there were volcanoes and molecule dioramas on the tables instead of pyramids and pharaohs. And instead of the kids taking our parents around to look at everybody else's artifact, we had to stand by our tables while all the parents wandered around the room and came over to us one by one. Here's the math on that one. 60 kids in the grade equals 60 sets of parents, and doesn't even include the grandparents, so that's a minimum of 120 pairs of eyes that find their way over to me. Eyes that aren't as used to me as their kids' eyes are by now. It's like how compass needles always point north, no matter which way you're facing. All those eyes are compasses, and I'm like the North Pole to them. That's why I still don't like school events that include parents. I don't hate them as much as I did at the beginning of the school year, like the Thanksgiving sharing festival. That was the worst one, I think. That was the first time I had to face the parents all at once. The Egyptian museum came after that, but that one was okay because I got to dress up as a mommy and nobody noticed me. And then came the winter concert, which I totally hated because I had to sing in the chorus. Not only can I not sing at all, but it felt like I was on display. The New Year art show wasn't quite as bad, but it was still annoying. They put up our artwork in the hallways all over the school and had the parents come and check it out. It was like starting school all over again, having unsuspecting adults pass me on the stairway. Anyway, it's not that I care that people react to me. Like I've said a gazillion times, I'm used to that by now. I don't let it bother me. It's like when you go outside and it's drizzling a little. You don't put on boots for drizzle. You don't even open your umbrella. You walk through it and barely notice your hair getting wet. But when it's huge gym full of parents, the drizzle becomes like this total hurricane. Everyone's eyes hit you like a wall of water. Mom and Dad hang around my table a lot, along with Jack's parents. It's kind of funny how parents actually end up forming the same little groups their kids from. Like my parents and Jack's and Summer's mom all like and get along with each other. And I see Julian's parents hanging out with Henry's parent and Miles' parent. And even the two Max's parents hang out together. It's so funny. I tell Mom and Dad about it later when we were walking home, and they thought it was a funny observation. I guess it's true that, like Sikhs, like, say, Mom,